the reasons for seeking accommodation and the ways and means and the fact that we can seek accommodation in the public schools is curricular inclusion. How do the schools talk about Islam? How do the textbooks talk about Islam? Do they talk about Islam? Do they only mention it in a brief way as a civilization that sort of came and went? Or do they mention it as an ongoing part of history? We also, and this is what I'm going to conclude with because Sister Sharif is going to continue with it, is work through PTAs and local school district textbook selection committees and keeping our eyes open for community and school events which touch Muslims, putting out publications and so on and so forth, and getting into the system which makes the decisions about what children learn in schools.
You have to get involved to the point where they're going to, in a positive way, so that they respect you, they respect your faith, your culture, and they actually would invite you to be involved with them in the process of educating these children in a way that teaches about your religion, not tries to convert them to Islam. Because many parents come to the school system with the idea that I might get some convertees here. And I can recommend that you would get involved in the following facets of school systems. One is the social studies book adoption committees, the social studies curriculum advisory committees, the human relations committee, the gifted and talented programs, the minority achievement programs, the literature committees, and the superintendent's advisory committees. I think that if we do all these things, we can have a permanent effect. History books, social studies books, world cultures books. I am involved in a 1.5-year project as part of the Muslim Education Council to look at every single sentence that exists in all the books nationwide about Muslims, Islam, the Arab world, even the pictures that are presented. To pull those things out, look at them, see what's wrong, rewrite what's wrong about them, and then have those checked by scholars, and then submit that to the book companies and ask them to change it.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has enabled us to start working within the area of the public schools and the Muslim student concerns in that area.
Them as well.
Education is one of the most important areas that Muslims have to address. And while our objective, our final objective, is not just to become part of the system that we experience now and that we see, our objective, our final objective, is to create our own Islamic systems, and not only create Islamic systems for Muslims, but to look at all the other people who are sharing this country with us as potential Muslims. And if we look at them as potential Muslims and feel that we have the obligation, which Allah has told us, to try to bring them into the same style of thinking, into the same way of behaving, into the same objectives that we have, then we have to have some way that we can communicate with them and some way we can work with them. And in that long-range process of making America Muslim, all of America Muslim, then we have to have some actual short-range goals. We have to have some way of dealing with them and know how we're going to deal with them and in which ways, and be very calculated about it, or else we will not accomplish our goals.